Lenten Weekday Scripture, Part 2. The first week of Lent presents the Ten Commandments, the final judgment of Matthew 25, the Lord's Prayer, the story of Jonah, Jesus' instruction on prayer, and sections of the Sermon on the Mount.
The second week of Lent speaks of the mercy of God and our duty to be merciful to one another. It also warns against acting prideful like the Pharisees. The scriptures warn that following Christ means being a servant, not a person with power. This is thrust home by the parable of the rich man and Lazarus, which once again reminds us of our duty towards the poor. But the possibility of rejecting Jesus is also acknowledged with the story of the landowner whose son is killed by his tenants. The second week usually ends with the story of the prodigal, forgiving father who welcomes his son after he has exhausted his inheritance. In 2022, the second week ends with the solemnity of Saint Joseph.
God's mercy and our need to be merciful continue to be emphasized in the third week of Lent with the parable of the master and the unforgiving servant, along with other stories of sin and forgiveness. Friday of the third week usually presents the two great commandments as articulated by Jesus in Mark's Gospel. In 2022, the Annunciation of the Lord is celebrated on Friday of the third week.
The fourth week of Lent is full of stories of Jesus' compassion for the sick, including the son of the royal official and the crippled man at the pool of Bethesda. It continues with Jesus in John's Gospel responding to the unbelief of the Pharisees.
The fifth week begins with the stories of Susanna and the woman caught in adultery. It continues with Jesus in Jerusalem responding to the Pharisees who ultimately reject him. The Old Testament readings match this rejection with stories about Jeremiah and those who suffered at the hands of Nebuchadnezzar. But Saturday's reading from Ezekiel reminds us of hope.